This is something else I just, man, I love info, right? I don't know if you guys like facts, like, don't sell me, like, show me, right? So we're going to pass these out. If you're new, this is another great piece of literature here, guys. But I'm just going to go through this a little bit and share some facts with you. I've been a distributor for 40 months with Zija. I've never sold any products because I've never believed in any of the products that are sold by companies like this. My wife's a nutritionist and a raw food, superstar, a vegan, and every kind of whatever, right? She's a guru, man, right? So people come to me with these magical juices and patches and wraps and shenanigans and whatever. And I always bring it to her and say, tell me why this is good, tell me what's so special or whatever. And she, oh, this is pasteurized and this has sucralose and this is synthetic, and she'd like shred everything, right? So I brought her Zija and she went nuts, right? She starts foaming at the mouth. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome, right? Like, she's the nutritional Nazi, so if she's excited, think of what Joe Lunchbucket will think. This is great, right? So I got really excited about this and started promoting it. And even though my wife's like super healthy and like, all that stuff, I, on the other hand, was the polar opposite. I mean, I did the best I could. When I was at home, I'd eat all of her stuff. Then I'd go on the road to make money, and there's nothing good out there, right? Tim Hortons and all the, right? So I was like a chunk of monk. I mean, I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now, and I'm going to be 43 next month, but a few years ago I was feeling 40 and probably plus, right? And I just didn't have a lot of energy and all that kind of stuff. So I started on the product. Great testimonies, ladies. The first 2 months I lost 30 pounds total, and I've kept that weight off now for 38 months. And I didn't exercise, I didn't diet, I just took the stuff, and it rocked my world. All my joint pain went away, all the stuff that was bugging me was like gone. So I got pumped about this product, man. I thought, hey, if it works this great for me, it's going to work great for everybody. And that's really the cool thing about it, is when you share the information with somebody, you never know who you're going to help, guys. I mean, I've just shared it with people before, and they call me like in tears. I mean, it like changed their life, man. And that's cool. I mean, we're making money, don't get me wrong. I was looking at this as an income opportunity, but even if you never made a dime, and if you help somebody be around another day with their kids or their family, that's like a win, man, in my book, right? So I'm pretty passionate about this stuff. Let me roll through it with you real quick and tell you what's so swell about it, guys. But kind of why we're doing so well is people aren't eating as good as they used to. It's no surprise, right? Like in 1965, that was the food pyramid, right? Fruits, vegetables, whole grains. People typically ate food that was prepared in the home. So back in those days, you kind of knew your farmer, and you knew your butcher, and you knew your milkman, and we knew where our food came from. Today, food is so commoditized. You go to the grocery store, and the raspberries are from Peru or something, right? Like, it's like, what? So back in those days, we ate about 1,500 calories a day, statistically, and we ate 3 square meals that were prepared in the home. And when we left for school or work, we took a brown bag and it had lunch in it, right? And so today it's a little different. Back in those days, 1 out of 32 people statistically was overweight. Today it's a little bit different. Back in those days, if you smoked too much, drink too much, you're toast. I mean, other than that, you didn't have ulcerative colitis. You just didn't have that stuff. Every itis on the planet, man, and the drug to go with it, right? You just didn't have that stuff, So today, the largest problem we're confronting daily is what's on our plate, man. Food is so processed and so adulterated that it's stripped of its nutrients. Guys, we're consuming on average 3,000 calories a day as North Americans, but yet we're consuming 80% less nutrition statistically. So when you're consuming a massive amount of calories that don't have companion nutrients with it, your body lacks the tools to metabolize those calories, and it wreaks havoc on you in the way of weight and all of. So 7 out of 10 people today statistically in North America are overweight. I live in Texas, 10 out of 10 people statistically are overweight. It's like we got Mexican food, right? So I was one of them. I was crushing some Mexican food, man. So for me, this was great because it wasn't a diet. Have you ever done a diet? Anybody that's willing to admit it? Me too. And you're good when you're like depriving yourself and you're like this good little like poster kid, and then you go back to normal and boom, So what I love about this is the products work. It didn't come with a meal plan. It didn't come with a Beast Body workout plan, like the shenanigans, right? I see all these isogenics and whatever. Here's your product, and here's your meal plan, your workout plan. No, I don't want that. Like, I want the product to work, right? Guys, our products work. Isn't that cool? The products work. Right? So what's cool is this is basically giving your body gap nutrition that it's not getting with the food, right? And you say, well, I'm already taking vitamins. Hey, I'm already a nutritionist. I was taking fistfuls of vitamins every day, like every prebiotic, probiotic, enzyme. Like, I mean, I'm drinking apple cider vinegar every morning. I'm doing crazy stuff, right? I'm married to the guru, man. Everyone's gonna help me, you know, right? But still, I was a hot mess, you know. So I got on this stuff, and it rocked my world. The best part about it, it was like nutrition for dummies, right? Like, I wasn't gonna get up every morning like she does and make kale juices and fresh squeezed wine lemons and dehydrate chia seeds, and like, I mean, you know, that's a lot of work, right? I just can't do that, ain't me, right? But this, I can do Sept. It's like nutrition for dummies, right? And it works, which is great. So let me tell you why this is so great, guys. So the moringa, where I live down in Texas, we have a lady that lives right by us that grows moringa, right? This Chinese lady named Sunny. She grows it, she sells tinctures and chapsticks and bags of stuff. And my wife, as soon as she heard about this, she went over to Sunny, spent $400 US, came home with a box of junk, you know, and she's, I'm doing moringa. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. Z's just not that. It's different, right? So the first thing I learned is there's 58 varietals of moringa, right? So for a year, when Z just started, they went globally and they vetted every single one of these with botanists and pharmacologists to find the best raw material. Because it's not, they wanted efficacy, right? Like something that works, not just a mainstay, right? We can go anywhere. It's like, think about this, guys, you know. You guys have trucks? Y'all have trucks up here? Like out in Texas, you know, you a man who don't have a truck. Right? You know? So there's an S10, like a Chevy S10, which is a truck, I guess. You know, it's like a Matchbox truck. And then you've got an F350, like that's a truck. You know what I mean? And they're trucks are trucks. Big difference there, you know, right? So there's a big difference here too. So there's 58 kinds of moringa. Number one, we've got the bomb.com moringa. Moringa oleifera. It's the correct variety, it's the correct species, yada yada, right? The other thing is that moringa varies in quality drastically depending upon where it's grown, okay? So where ours is grown, it's grown at the foothills of the Himalayan mountains in India, right? Average daily temperature there is 114 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like the desert, man, right? And it hardly ever rains there. So in that super hot, inhospitable environment, guys, the moringa forms its own immunological protective or harness around the nutrients to safeguard them, right? So that's number one, is we've got something that's like the chronic, you know, other people like swaggy moringa, like we've got the Hawaiian, you know, like whatever. I see all the meat stores around here. So you guys get the analogy. So this is the potato too, it's, but this is the best stuff, you know, this is the best stuff empirically, right? So number one, that's important, is the raw material and the quality of the botanical, right? Number two, we shade dry ours. It's so fragile that when moringa is most fragile is when it's harvested, right? So if you harvest it and you put it in the sun to dry it, which most companies do, you swag it out because the UV light of the sun cross-links the nutrients and renders them inert. So you're getting some benefit, but why would you want to pay for all benefit, not some benefit, right? So we shade dryers. It's way more labor intensive, but it gives you efficacy. You want to pay for something that works, results, right? Now that's number two. Now number three, beyond that, we have a proprietary blend that nobody's got. You guys will see this on the. We use the leaves, the seeds, and the fruit of the moringa tree. Those are the three relevant components for like the holy grail mix, right? So the leaves contain all the vitamins of the moringa. Okay. The fruit contains all the minerals. So here's an example, right, of some minerals that are in the fruit of the tree. Calcium, chloride, chromium, copper, fluorine, iron, manganese, magnesium, something I can't even pronounce, molybdenum, whatever that is, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, selenium, sulfur, zinc. Pretty important, huh? Our bodies need minerals, man. That's gangster amounts of minerals in the fruit. So if I'm going to buy moringa at the health food store, you ain't getting that. You're just getting swaggy, crushed up mortar and pestle leaves, you know, right? Whatever, okay? Now beyond that, the seeds of the moringa tree. You guys can see the seeds up here. So here's the fruit, here's the leaves, here's the seeds. The seeds are enriched with omegas 3, 6, and 9. Those are essential fatty acids or brain food, man. So when you drink our proprietary blend, you'll notice a bump in mental clarity because your brain's getting all this crazy good EFAs, man. So you're like, whoa, you know, right? And another little factoid for you, you guys might know that the moringa leaves contain 7 times the vitamin C of a raw orange, right? That's a lot of vitamin C. The seeds contain 10 times the vitamin C of the leaves. So our proprietary blend is literally the equivalent of 70 raw oranges, man, because it's, you're right. So did anybody have 70 raw oranges today? This year, you know, right? Like, you know, so that's good for your immune system. system, good for your anti-inflammatory support, just so many things, right? So you can't get this anywhere. It took ZJ over a year and $14 million worth of formulation and 124 failed attempts to develop this product where they could keep it bioavailable, raw, enzymatically alive, and palatable. That's the biggest thing, is moringa is so gangster nasty in its native state, it's like licking an armpit, man. It's really bitter, right? So like, how is Joe Lunchbucket North American if it don't taste like grape Kool-Aid, right? Oh man. I mean, you guys, you ever poured a bottle in front of somebody and they're like, it looks like mud. Like, look at this. Here's Adam's got super mix rolling here. You know, people look at that and they go, ah, right? I don't even let them drink it before they smell it. Like, I'll rip that thing open, let them, oh, that smells good. Now they know they can drink it. I mean, woo, you know, right? So it's a sensory, right? Oh, that's good, right? So they had to put a little bit of mango puree and some orange peel and some different botanicals in there to cut the bitterness of it, right? But that's important because if you take moringa from the health food store, just the swaggy leaves, and you put them in some juice or whatever, the acidity of the juice instantly strips the enzymes out of the moringa and you swag it out, man. So they had to use the water as a delivery system so it would work, right? So you'll have people too, like my wife, she did the moringa from the Chinese lady for a month, and she's like, I don't know, it tastes kind of nasty. And here I lose 20 pounds the first month, and I'm doing cartwheels, and she's like, dude, it's not sick stuff, you know? And I'm the health misfit, right? She's the pro, so what do I know, right? So after a month, she gets on the ZJ, and she's like, this is different. And my wife's pretty melancholy. She's not like a hypey, fired up kind of gal. She's like pretty chill, right? She goes, I feel euphoric when I drink this stuff. Like I'm like high or something. Like I can't put my finger on it. This is like great stuff. I told you, right? So anyway, this stuff's great, right? So let me run through the 5 key notables. Number 1, moringa contains 46 antioxidants. Guys, antioxidants are important, right? If you have a diet that's rich in antioxidants, you're less likely to have issues on a cellular level, like bad stuff, right? The second closest superfood is an obscure berry called the acai berry. It has 21 antioxidants. This has 46, man. All that in a bag of chips, right? Number 2, 36 anti-inflammatories. So Ariana talked about the joint pain and this and that. Guys, when you start drinking this botanical, if you're currently suffering from inflammation, it's going to rock your socks, man. Like an ibuprofen, right? 1 anti-inflammatory. I'd like to put 36 of those bad boys in your system every day from a plant, not a drug, right? Like it's good stuff. Number 3, talked about the omegas. You're getting those in the seeds. This is big, man. 20 aminos. I was talking to Adam. Adam's a little stud muffin, right? This guy's built, man. I was like, dude, he's like, these products, man, got me where I want to be, brother. I'm like, no, dude, man. So that's because there's 20 amino acids naturally occurring in there. You guys know aminos are the building blocks for protein, right? So when our body takes lots of protein in, man, if we're able to have those aminos to accompany it, it helps us build lean muscle mass, right? So if people are lacking aminos, it can manifest in a couple ways. They're of a fluffier disposition or they're skeleton skinny, right? So the skeleton skinny crowd start drinking moringa, they start putting on a little muscle, like, wow, this is great. People like myself that were fluffier start to tighten in tone, I've had women post-birth, lose skin issues and this and start to suck back into their pre-baby type of position, or people with a couple chins now have one, right? Right? So you'll notice your skin will totally change on this stuff, guys. It's like crazy, right? So there's 92 verifiable nutrients, every vitamin from A to Z. Cost is $3 a day US. You couldn't get a cup of coffee where I'm from for what you're getting in our proprietary blend every day. So it's like amazing, right? That's all we use. Okay, so what I love is all this is backed up by facts. If you go to pubmed.gov, it's the largest website in the world for scientific data. And you type in moringa at pubmed.gov, and you'll see over 500 third-party peer-reviewed research studies about this by the largest hospitals and research universities in the world, verifying this info. Geez, I've got high blood pressure. I wonder if moringa is good for that. I don't know. Type in moringa high blood pressure. See what you get. 15 studies, right? Like you're gonna see some stuff. Moringa's good for this. Check it out, man. So here's why we're getting such a good result, right? The product's working and targets the #1 problem in North America, which is overweight, right? So someone said, well, I'm not overweight. Yeah, who do you know that is? Gosh, everyone I know is. There you go, right? Ding, 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 opportunity, okay? So you're not overweight. Who do you know that you can help? Whatever, right? Hey, do you want nutrition? Just get on the nutrition, man. We're all humans. We all need that anyway, right? Okay? So first things first, when you wake up in the morning, you'll take your moringa. You take your proprietary blend in. What that does is it gives your body the tools to combat caloric intake, right? Because now your body's so satiated with phytonutrients. So when you go to Tim Hortons on the way to work and you're eating this and that, your body goes, calories, oh my goodness, what do we do? And Marika says, don't worry, man, we got this. And they go Mike Tyson on the calories. They convert what they can into usable energy instead of storing it as fat because there's no companion nutrients, right? So when you drink that, it stops the weight gain dead in its tracks. First things first, man, in the morning, I never miss it, guys. I'll wake up, I'm smashing that stuff, right? Our whole family does this. First things first, right? Eat whatever you want after that. You may want to eat nothing because you feel so unsatiated, right? Now, when you're in the weight loss process, you're going to take a capsule. We've kind of got the heavy artillery there with the turbo, and then we've got a little bit lighter option called the AM capsule, okay? That stuff's like pretty crazy, man. I take one of those and I'd shoot through the ceiling, right? So I kind of roll with the AM capsule. I'm like a little bit of a lightweight, but that still cranks my tractor, right? But what it'll do is it'll heat your body up and it'll burn fat wherever you've got it because your metabolism's a little bit cranked up, right? You're moving and grooving, okay? Now, number 2 in the evening, you'll take a PM capsule before dinner. And what this does is it de-stresses you from your day, lowers your cortisol levels, your stress levels, right? It allows you to be more portion controlled when you're eating dinner because you're getting more nutrients from your food because you're in a chill mode instead of like, man, my boss is crazy and my kids and my job. You're eating dinner and you're on Mars mentally, man. You're in the fight or flight, right? This puts you in a parasympathetic rest and digest, man. So it's got ashwagandha and Atlantic sea kelp and Gemina sylvestri and moringa, like some killer botanicals, which really slow your roll. But the best part is it staves off sugar cravings all evening long, unless you're hanging out with the right Primo, right? That guy can find any donut shop in Vancouver. I'm telling you, it's wild, man, right? And I'm a donut addict, like I'll admit it, man. That's like some people use drugs, I use donuts, man, right? And also, like for me, it's like, let's go get that. So anyway, that works. That was my big problem, was ice cream and that. Okay, now the last component is the tea, and you'll consume the premium tea a couple nights a week, maybe 3 nights a week if you've got a bit more aggressive weight loss goal. And what it does is there's some really cool botanicals in there that work to harness cellular waste and localize that in your intestinal tract. So when you wake up, you're going to have your normal movement like we all do, right? But all that cellular waste, all those burned fat cells, that metabolic waste is in that normal bowel movement, and you're excreting that once and for all. So people go, how are people losing 50 and 60 and 100 pounds without diet and exercise? That's all the guys, the tea literally takes the place of the exercise because it's getting out the fat cells. Before you'd be, working out and breathing those out, right? Or you're sweating, it's a detox method, right? That's how we get rid of our fat cells. But the tea kind of takes care of metabolic waste purge, okay? So I live in Texas. The biggest misconception is it's like a go-potty tea or something, right? Like, oh, dude, I'm regular. Oh, these guys come up to me after meetings, tough guys, men's men, I go every day, bud. I said, well, I was going every day too, dude, whatever. I said, what do you got that's ridding you of metabolic waste on a cellular level? And they're like, I didn't have anything either. So this does that. This ain't like a laxative or a smooth move or some sort of diuretic type of thing. It's like a cellular cleanser, but it'll get the lead out, all right? Now, last component is the daily tea. This can be utilized anytime. This is a great tea. You can enjoy it hot or cold. It's a craving killer, man, right? So say you're on the ferry and white spots looking pretty sexy. You know you shouldn't do it, but you gotta do it, right? Maybe get a cup of hot water and drop a little daily tea in there and suck down the daily tea. And there's key botanicals in there that shoot little messages to your brain that say, dude, we're good. We don't need that, right? Garcinia cambogia and bitter melon extract and astragalus and just some really cool botanicals that tell you you're good until you get to a healthy meal choice like dinner, right? Or lunch or something sensible, right? So the daily tea is really good. That right there, guys, is our system. It works, it works, it works, it works if you take it, right? And you got to take it like that. Wake up, do your couple capsules, do your tea a couple nights a week, enjoy daily tea anytime, and you're going to get results, period. How many people in here have enjoyed results on our system? Look at all these hands. How many people are new? Everybody's losing weight but you guys, right? You got to be on the field to score a goal, right? So we get you on the field tonight, right? Get your products in that, right? So, okay. Oh, this doesn't work. There we go. Now, the skin. Our largest organ is our skin. We've all got it, okay? The coolest thing about Zija, guys, is that it's got a plant hormone in it called zeatin. And I don't know if you guys know, but like if we get a cut, we heal. If we get a zit, it heals and that type of thing. Our skin cells turn over. We're an all-new us, head to toe skin every 45 days. That's how they regenerate, right? But when you add this plant hormone called zeatin, There's actually 6,000 times more zeatin in zija than the second closest botanical, which is coconut oil, right? 6,000 times more zeatin. So when you drink this stuff, it's going to manifest in, hey, Richard, it's going to manifest in your largest organ, which is your skin, right? So I don't know, especially like young women, Kathy and Ariana, or like young, or Katie, young little ladies, you know, a lot of younger women often get accused of being pregnant when they start drinking this stuff because they start glowing. They're like, girl, what are you skinning? It's like, dude, I'm drinking, right? It's like, I'm drinking a tree, man, right? So you'll start looking good, man. Or people with like eczema and rosacea, you know, issues, acne, like gonzo, and they're popping and, right? And women in Texas call this stuff Botox in a bottle just because of what it does to your skin. Your skin will look amazing, right? So zija is actually an acronym. The Z stands for zeatin, which is that plant hormone, and the ija is ancient Egyptian or Sanskrit for moringa. That's what the Egyptians called it, right? They used to bury the pharaohs and stuff with moringa trees in their tomb because they thought they needed it in the afterlife. And I mean, it was that coveted, right? It's a big deal. So zija, it's kind of cool. So we've developed a whole skincare product that's loaded with zeatin and to give you benefit to your skin, right? So I use pretty much all of it. I've turned into like a big old metro or whatever you call it, right? Like I was telling Greg, dude, you gotta use the body oil on your face. It's like, Greg, really? You think it'll work? I'm like, dude, I was like, I'll look at That's all I use, man. I get out of the shower, I take that body oil, I just slap that everywhere, man. This stuff's gangster, man. And it's like, guys, you know, like you're shaving it, you might get a little chafy or you cut it, so, you know, it's just like totally repairs, man. Regenerates, it's great stuff. So we got the whole enchilada. We've got the, you know, the lip balm. Like I'm using the lip balm right now up here with the moringa. This is great stuff, man. It's sweetened with xylitol, man. It's got a little bit of the mayo essential oil in there. It's the moringa, right? There's actually a compound in the stem of the moringa tree called moringine. It's the most emulsifying compound ever discovered by man. It's more emulsifying than shea butter, which is like the gold standard for bees knees, you know, softness stuff, right? Our stuff, guys, the moringine, we've got it in our hand cream. We've also got it in the lip balms and some other stuff soon to come out next week. All right, so now another line that we have real quick I'll say about the conclusion is the mayo essential oils. How many people know about essential oils before they heard about our company? Anybody? A few of y'all? I did too. My wife was buying them. We have some friends of ours in Austin, Texas, right? Our motto's keep it weird. That's for literally. That's our motto. Keep Austin weird, right? Like we strive to do that. So my wife has some friends that are definitely keeping Austin weird. They come over and they wear robes, man. These people don't wear clothes, they wear robes, and they Birkenstocks, and they've got mohawks, and they're super cool. They're way out there, right? They sell essential oils. My wife, every time they came over, there'd be $1,000 on their credit card from Living Young, some company. I go, what is this stuff? The kids need it. Okay. You know, like, happy wife, happy life. Okay. She's right. Hey, guys, a little advice for you. She's always right. Yeah. Makes life so much more, pretty much true. So anyway, about 20 months ago, I'm in Maui, Hawaii for zija, Black Diamond, whatever, you know, and the doctor's there, the Harvard guy, and he's like, we're launching essential oils. I'm like, oh, that's that junk my wife buys, you know? So I went scurrying up to the room, and I said, hey, we're going to start selling essential oils. Oh, but nothing can beat the oils I buy. They have their own farm, and they have a horse, and they have a tractor, and I don't care what they have. I'm sure zija wouldn't have a Me Too thing. It's got to be sweller. Let me find out, right? So I scurry back down there, and I asked the doctor, I said, hey, she said they have a farm and a horse and a dog and an old guy sitting on a rocking chair. Like, what do we got? You know? He's like, that's all marketing. Let me tell you what's up, dude. He said, if essential oils are movies, like, you like watching movies, renting movies? Oh, I love movies. You guys like movies? Love movies, right? Like, we're movie nuts. We love movies, right? He's like, well, you've been watching movies on DVD, right? Which is the oil brand she's been using. Tell her she's about to start using oils or watching movies on Netflix. I'm like, wow, it's that revolutionary? He said, dude, it's that revolutionary. So I scurry back upstairs, right? And I tell her, I'm like, it's Netflix, it's Netflix oil. Well, so then I go to she still doesn't believe it, right? Like, whatever, you know? But what got her is actually when she took some of the stuff she was using and she did like a head-to-head, like she took her little peppermint and then the amino peppermint, and when it was like, you know, she discovered God or something. It was the nose. She freaked out. Why is this so like wow? Well, here's what we found out, right? Well, oils have been used forever, man. Like, think about like baby Jesus, like in the Bible. Like frankincense, myrrh, gold, you know. We don't offer gold yet, right? But we offer myrrh and frankincense. These were like
highly regarded for immunological support, right? So like if you were a loaded kind of family and you were having a baby, you would slather mama's, with myrrh, frankincense, and also that new baby, right? And stuff that was, the baby's less likely to get sick and be hurt as an infant, immunologically, right? Rich people stuff. The kings brought them. Each gold was rubbish, right? So it's been used since like baby Jesus, frankincense, myrrh, all this stuff, right? So for the last 40 or 50 years, science has compiled a database of 17,000 clinical studies on essential oil. 17,000, right? So I go to that PubMed.gov and I'm like, I wonder if there's one study on this, hippie perfume stuff, right? I type in essential oil, 17,000 studies pop up. Okay, I'm an idiot, proof right there, And I was like, whoa. So I started going deeper. Hundreds of studies by oncology units, right, on frankincense and the promotion of normal cell division. Hundreds of studies by burn units on lavender, neonatal units with vetiver and like calming, soothing, riled up infants, military hospitals, PTSD studies with lavender, vetiver, all these studies, right, like peppermint and anti-inflammatory support, wintergreen, like all this, 17,000 of them, right? So what we did is we said, well, what kind of oil were they using? If the oils really work, we want to obtain that quality standard, right? I mean, if you read a scientific study and it says this will do this to your body, don't you want that? If you're dealing with that, right? I want that. So I go to the health food store and lavender, is it the same lavender? Absolutely not. I didn't know that. I thought lavender was lavender, moringa is moringa, trucks are trucks, whatever, chicks are chicks. There's differences. So when you go, what we did is we actually went to the largest scientific raw material sourcer in the world. It's a company in St. Louis, Missouri. And if you're a scientist, like say you're, university or whatever up here in Vancouver, and you're doing a study on PTSD and you want to source some raw, lavender, you would get it from them because their quality standard is beyond scrutiny. So when I'm a scientist and I publish a third-party paper on ABC, I have to be 100% transparent. Here's everything. Here's all the cards, right? Raw materials, how long, how much, whatever. So we went and we bought that quality standard, guys, for $12 million from the scientific. We bought 40 years worth of research, 40 years worth of quality profiles, for everything. And so we're able to do this, guys. When you use a Mayo essential oils, right, on the bottom of every bottle, if they haven't been rubbed a little bit, there's an ID number or a batch number, right? Like a 6-digit code. And you can type that in, and it'll pull up all the testing that's been done, all the quality verification that's been done on that specific oil when you go to Mayo.com to guarantee that it meets the clinical standards used in ABC clinical study. Right? So if you use it, you want to make sure it's delivering that therapeutic payload that you are using it for, don't you? Well, I'm just going to go over here and do whatever, right? Let's get a result. You guys want a result, right? Yes. So I'm telling you, this stuff, like last month, my wife and I, our organization, we did this little binary thing. We sold $1 million worth of moringa products, but we sold $200,000 worth of Mayo essential oil products and growing. I mean, that thing is going straight vertical because people are finding out, man, we can help ourselves daily and naturally restore conditions in our body using that instead of drugs, right? Y'all get that, right? I mean, there's so many benefits. I'm an oil nut, man, and I used to think it was, crazy stuff. Now I'm crazy, right? Right? You smell those. Whatever, dude. Right? Let me educate you, man. So, last things last year with the oils, we did a study, guys, with a big university there in the U.S. called MIT. It's like the very central smart people, right? We did a $2 million epigenetic study. And what we found out is that our genes, we're all 23,000 different genes in our body, that when you add certain single Mayo essential oils, it can help your genes express negatively or positively. We want positive gene expression, right? So they developed a couple blends. The first one's called a men's blend. There's a women's blend as well. And I take this every day, guys. You take one with breakfast, one with dinner. And it allows the man, right, that's just a capsule with a few single essential oils, and it tells you which ones, and a little bit of coconut oil to help deliver it and all that kind of stuff. But what it does is it turns on our testosterone again, guys, right? Anybody here over 40? Yeah, anybody here over 30? Let's get real, man, right? So, that stuff starts to slow down, right? And so when you take this, what it does, it turns on your body's natural andros, HGH, testosterone production. So you feel this youthful countenance, you will sleep better, libido, strength, man, you will feel, I even had a buddy of mine, 45 years old, start breaking out in zits, man, like a teenage kid was like, dude, you know, it's like, I'm like, hey man, welcome to 18 again, right? So, I mean, they went away after a while, but at first he was like, kid, right? Now women, same deal, man. So progesterone, estrogen levels tend to go wild as women age, and this brings those back into healthy levels, right? Like normal levels.
Amen.
Also, women that suffer from really kind of like painful, what do you call it stuff there? The cycle, you know what I mean? I'm trying to look for the right word. I got all women in my house, so there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But with my teenager, I'll tell you what, we got a girl at 18, she just turned 19, so a couple of years ago when they introduced this stuff, she's 16 at the time, hadn't had her cycle yet, her first women's, visit and whatever, and all her friends have had it, right? And so my daughter's never touched soda pop, like my wife, she's been all organic, they go to the doctor, the naturopath, they went to every path on the planet, my wife's dragging her around. They said, this is a healthy kid, man. This kid's like a specimen of health, and she's just a late bloomer, man. So, she wanted to be a woman. I said, get on with some of that AGXC. I mean, that's a hormonal thing, Eric. Let's throw some of that down and see what happens. First week, woman, right? I'm serious.